Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we are joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen. I really do not know why we are so white and pale right now. I think it has something to do with the lights and the...
Must be the winter time. There's no sun air in Manitoba.
Yeah, no sun in Canada. Sorry. But anyway, I think that the most important part is the information. So anyway, as soon as people start coming online, this is a live stream, of course, we will start answering your questions, and we won't be on for a super long time because, of course, we just finished doing a whole bunch of videos. I did a whole bunch of videos earlier today. I've been doing it since I got up, so I'm very tired. So I don't know how long I could possibly manage this, but anyway, we'll do our best here to answer a few questions. Starting off, because no one has commented yet, make sure to comment, I'll just talk about how insane it has been with STEEMIT in the past few days. Steam has skyrocketed, going from about $1 or $2.20 or so to about $7 and something, $7.66 when it peaked. So it's just been absolutely incredible. YouTube shows it as 0 people watching, which is impossible. I think that there's a little bit of funny business going on. I'm not sure what on earth is happening right now. We've never seen only 0 people watching at this point. No one is being notified, obviously. Oh, we see 1 person watching. I'm not sure what's going on here. Usually at this point we have like 30 questions. So we'll just camp out here for a few seconds. But there's a lot to talk about. What do you think, John, about like the massive, like just massive rallies we've seen in these cryptocurrencies?
No, it's exciting, Josh. It's a lot of fun watching, you know, the whole old paradigm dying out as the new paradigm comes in, where people are starting to look at and see their freedoms, you know, right in front of them. They're starting to understand that, wow, I could be a free individual. I could start using these currencies against the big colossal system that is, you know, enslaving us. So I'm very excited just to see the massive gains that some of the freedom-loving people have made. You know, I'm all for making a lot of money, and then with that money you could do a lot of good. You could educate a lot of people, and the whole freedom movement is, you know, getting from a point where a lot of people, you know, didn't have a lot of money to where a place where people can actually, you know, really start to make a better living and really put this message out to the mainstream.
It's too funny because as we speak, well, we have 2 people watching. Usually at this point we have about 80 people watching, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And this is just another telltale sign. You see, we are being censored so dramatically on YouTube, so dramatically on Facebook. I'm banned from sharing in any groups on Facebook right now, as I was like less than a month ago. I have seen a vast demonetization on YouTube. They are cutting us off in every way possible. And then along comes something like STEEMIT, the blockchain decentralized. It's a beautiful thing as long as we take advantage of using it for good rather than evil in a centrally planned fashion that the central bankers and government want it to be. And it's just replacing these dinosaur medias like YouTube, which at this moment we have 4 people watching. As I said to those that are just tuning in, we usually have about 80 people watching at this point in a video, and I think people aren't getting notified. As people have clicked to be notified, people aren't being notified. Something's happening, and it's absolutely insane, but despite how ridiculous it is, people are moving over to DTube, moving over to STEEMIT, and we are seeing just a renaissance happen, and we are seeing gold at the same time skyrocket, which we just did a report on. We will be publishing it soon. We are watching silver go up. We are watching that which is decentralized and that which is wealth insurance go up in value. Please comment on the live chat to tell us if you could even hear us or see us or what's going on here, because I've never seen 4 minutes and 10 seconds into a video, no activity. This is like completely new to me. It's unbelievable. Unless maybe everyone that's watching right now is on, I don't know, is on just YouTube without an account or something. I don't know. But anyway, we will continue to push it through social medias. We'll see if anyone has commented on STEEMIT, because of course we post all of our stuff on STEEMIT.com. So far we only have 1 spam comment, so that's not helpful. But yeah, please comment in the chat and we will answer your questions. Again, I have no idea what on earth is happening right now, John.
Interesting.
This is totally strange. Very, very strange stuff. But let's see. There's lots of stuff in the news. I'm just going to go into a random article that I have up here then as I'm waiting. Huma Abedin forwarded top secret passwords to Yahoo account hacked by Russian with odd Clinton connection. Again, isn't it strange that the biggest Russian collusions have been, somehow connected to Hillary Clinton and the Uranium One deal, which she keeps saying, well, she's on mainstream media, that it's been debunked. No, it has not. And then on top of that, the Fusion GPS situation where we reported originally, it's connected to Donald Trump met with this person from Russia, not from the Russian government, but from Russia. But then we find out that the person that went there was actually working with Fusion GPS and was connected to the Clinton campaign, trying to do opposition research on Trump in order to try and frame him as getting opposition research from Russia on Hillary. It's just absolute nonsense, and the mainstream media jumbles it all up. Yeah. I'm not a fan of any government.
No, we're talking about Russian intelligence. Remember the video that we did just recently on the Norwegian former border commissioner that was taken for spying in Russia with Russian naval intelligence documents. So that was very interesting as well. So there's lots of things going on, and I believe they're just trying desperately, to push this whole agenda on scaring the heck out of people. And I really think they are really pushing, the military-industrial complex is pushing for poking that Russian bear until the Russians have had enough and do something irrational.
That's the whole idea. They want to push this military-industrial complex idea of just absolute enslavement of the masses through, fear. Fear is a great way to keep people subservient to the state and banking system, etc. Monetary system needs a war, and that's what's being pushed forward right now, and it's very scary because they are using this technique of fear-mongering about Russia to bring people into war with a massive, massive power, potentially causing a nuclear conflict, especially with Iran, North Korea, China, the Philippines, Syria, all these players, and it's insane. The fact that that people are falling for it, the so-called anti-war left, are believing the CNN nonsense about, Russia collusion, all this stuff. Let's start fighting them, and it's just absolutely insane. This is going to lead to a vast conflict if we don't learn from past mistakes of the Iraq War, Vietnam War, Korean War, every war that you could think of in recent history.
They've been a war ever since they became an empire, the United States, and that's what empires do with a massive fiat currency. In order to keep that fiat currency alive, they gotta continuously, get into and involved in other wars so they could get into more debt.
Absolutely. And we finally have comments. This is absolutely ridiculous. For those just tuning in, for 10 minutes almost, we had one viewer watching and no comments, which is so strange because usually within about 20 seconds we have about 50 to 80 viewers. And for some reason, no one was being notified. I don't know how you found this video. Please comment how you found the video, because YouTube is doing everything they can to censor us right now. And just in time for us to all flock to STEEMIT.com and DTube, because it's so much better in every way and is going to save independent media. But let's look at some of the comments here. So we have Mr. 760 asks, why not invest in Asian property, John?
Well, any property is good property. It just depends. You just gotta have the knowledge to invest in that property. That's all that it is. You can, of course, cash flow from it. Looking at capital gains part of it, that's more risk, of course. But I highly suggest, if you want to invest in Asian property, there's lots of good Asian real estate markets to look into. There would never be bad real estate if you know what you're doing. It's always about education. You always got to know what you're doing in order to invest in anything. So I highly suggest go and look at real estate down in Asia. But there's of course geopolitical risk there now, which who knows
so much
what
banker manipulation from all ends. Looking at the ghost cities that were built in China, that's a big red flag. There's a lot of bubbles. brewing, and like real estate has gotten to a point where it's like your house is not an asset, but people think of it as an asset. They put a whole bunch of money in it because they see a home and garden television show, and they lose everything because they don't know anything about the market they're getting involved in.
The central banks have blown epic proportional real estate bubbles around the world because of this cheap money. They push it, you know, to a point where almost every major market is in a real estate bubble, and that just shows you what how crazy they are. They're willing to, you know, make you feel rich with, you know, your real estate go up. Meanwhile, now we're looking at Norway. Real estate prices are down 4.8% over month. So I think we're going to see a lot of things happening very big all over the world, Josh, with this whole real estate debacle that's coming down as people have been flocking in to, you know, make money on the real estate market. And then, of course, every time there's always these people that are emotionally, you know, engaged in investing, and they always lose. You know, most of the populace, they try to, you know, lure them in to invest at the top, you know, buy at the top and sell at the bottom, because that's how the rich and the intelligent investors make their money.
By the way, I have absolutely no idea why the video quality is so terrible right now. It's like we're ghosts. But as we mentioned at the beginning of the video, when we had 0 viewers for no reason at all, it's the perks of living in Canada, folks. It's too cold out. We're all turning into ghosts. There's no sun. But again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm super tired because we've been doing videos all day. I've been doing them since I woke up. But let's look at another question here. Silver... IP Crazy 100 or something like that. Silver outlook in 2018. We are going to do something more extensive into that soon because we are interviewing David Morgan in a couple days.
Yeah, one of the world's biggest experts on silver.
Absolutely.
The silver guru.
Of the Morgan Report. And interestingly enough, we just reported on how gold has skyrocketed. We will have a video up on that soon. I don't want to spoil too much of it at the moment. I want you guys to tune into that. But, I mean, we've talked in the past about the silver-gold ratio.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The
I was going to mention that, Josh. And just take a look at the silver-gold ratio, because that always tells when big events are happening around the world. And now, again, with gold rallying and silver like staying very slow behind, you're seeing another, you know, move towards a big event. And with gold, you know, starting to suddenly skyrocket recently, I think gold is trying to tell us something, that a big event is, you know, under the radar, but it's going to happen.
And I see one comment here from Wilbur Slater that says the most emotional investors are Bitcoin buyers. I would say that that is absolutely nonsense. There are a lot of uneducated investments into cryptocurrency. There's no doubt about that.
Well,
but it's a bit different than, you know, the crazy, you know, home ownership buyer, you know, the people that are going into the real estate market with absolutely no idea about it, and then buying houses, trying to sell them higher when it's already peaking in places like Vancouver, Toronto, etc. There's a lot of emotion, but I wouldn't say that, you know, it's the most emotional investment. There is actual fundamentals in place for Bitcoin, where it's scarcity, demand, application, potential, future use, which is so important.
Well, also the stock market. There's a lot of emotion in the stock market. Look how much stock markets has gone up. You know,
who wants to invest in a completely manipulated bankster scheme or Ponzi like what we see in the stock market?
Yeah, the thing is education here, and I think talking about the most emotional, I think it's maybe some of the least emotional when you think when you look at who is behind this investing in Bitcoin. A lot of people are well educated about the monetary system, understands about it, but of course there's tons of emotional investors getting in now that are the same, you know, sheep that goes into a lot of other investments at the top. But I don't think we've seen the top yet in Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, the funniest part is that the banking system thinks that they can take over when Bitcoin is a sign of people moving away from the banking system, away from the markets, or manipulated markets, away from you know, the monetary system. It's so important that we understand that Bitcoin isn't fiat. Fiat is centrally planned, legal tender, currency based in debt, while Bitcoin is decentralized free market competing currency based in scarcity, demand, application, and potential future use. People don't understand this, and it's unfortunate. But we're not going to stick around too much longer because, of course, we've been working hard.
We'll add on maybe 5 minutes since, you know, there was nothing happening in the first 5, but we'll add on another 5.
Let's see. Yankees just said Bitcoin is fiat, as I just explained. No, it isn't. There's absolutely no comparison. They're absolute opposites. if you think Bitcoin is fiat, you don't know what fiat is. You don't know what Bitcoin is. It's
fiat is by law, and fiat means that you're forced through legal tender laws to use a currency. That's fiat. So Bitcoin, nobody forces you to use Bitcoin. You actually free market participate into
And there's a 21 million cap rather than just out of control central planning, quantitative easing, and fractional reserve lending. People don't understand what fundamentally makes fiat bad and what fundamentally makes Bitcoin good. There's a bit of centralization in every free market as well due to whale ownership of said asset, and then on top of that the mining monopolies within Bitcoin. But that is so much different than fiat. Mark Schroeder just said in the comments, backed by nothing. No, it isn't. What is gold backed by? It's not just backed by the fact that it's physical. It's backed by the fact that it's rare. It's scarce. There's not a lot of it on the planet.
And it lasts forever.
It lasts forever. It's created by supernovas. It's scarce. The public likes it, so therefore there's demand, and there's application, and there's future potential, as is with Bitcoin. Ripple's a different story. Ripple is centrally planned. But Bitcoin is not, and Bitcoin is a sign of the future to come. Fiat is centrally planned legal tender nonsense. People have to understand the difference between a cap on circulation and no cap.
Well, Bitcoin is a technology that has millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of data equipment running behind it. Making sure that it actually moves around, and all this money is invested in, working towards creating into a valid, really good currency for the future for people to use. So
yeah,
I have studied currencies, and the reason why I actually got into Bitcoin in late 2013 was because that I saw the potential of Bitcoin and what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, I just wanted to quickly mention that people constantly say it's a bubble. Well, there's very small ownership of Bitcoin in the entire world. The potential is huge. The notion that it's a bubble is nonsense. People are mixing up the fundamentals of the derivatives market with Bitcoin, just like they're mixing up fiat with Bitcoin, which are complete opposites. On top of that, we also have people say that it's like tulip mania in Holland. Tulips are not scarce. You can grow as many of them as you want, and there's no application use for tulips and no future potential. And when everyone owned it, there's a big problem there as well. I'd like to do a big shout out to Michael Holiday, who once again sent us some money on the super chat. I really appreciate it, Michael. We can't do it without our viewers, as we mentioned before. And he says, here is 1% of today's crypto profits. I'm not doing this for emotional reasons. I don't even like you guys. However, I do respect the utility of the information provided. Well, thank you very much. I sometimes don't like myself either, but I do also appreciate my own information. It's something that I enjoy on a daily basis. Thanks to Justlow Stone for another $10. Again, really appreciate the super chats. We can't do it without you, and it means a lot to us because we are dealing with a lot of crap from YouTube lately. Complete demonetization. They weren't showing a whole bunch of people the videos, including this one at the beginning. They weren't counting views the other day, holding it out of algorithm. Just constant censorship. Facebook's not letting us share in groups. It's brutal, guys, but we really appreciate the donations. We can't do it without you. Let's see. We will go into one more question. Let's check STEEMIT real quick here. And again, I always feel weird when people donate because I don't know what to say. Thank
you guys. We really appreciate you giving us money because it really makes it better and better for us being able to possible, be able to sit here and do this with you guys.
Absolutely. So there's no questions on STEEMIT, just spam at the moment from Nigerian princes and the like. So let's see. Thank you, Justlow Stone, again. It says, I appreciate the knowledge. Let's see. There's a few comments here. Zoltan Bose says, what's up, you pimps? Not too much, just pimping some knowledge.
The knowledge pimps.
Let's see.
So what is the one? I see one about Lira there, Josh. Could you mention that? I want to see what that person is talking about.
Where? Oh, yeah. Sally Smith says, the banks and government are holding my Lira hostage, Ontario, Canada. How can I get my own money out of a Lira if I'm only 49 years old? Why Can everyone but me take money out of my lira? Well, that's a banking scheme that we definitely talked about.
So lira, I'm very familiar with locked-in retirement account, as it's called here in Canada, where it holds until you retire, until I think it's 60 or 65 years that they will actually lock that money. You can't touch it. Now there's people, my mother-in-law invested in money that actually paid her dividends, so she got a little bit of that money out. And it's a big problem with lira, so you can't touch it until you have that retirement age. Yeah. So that's we talked about this before in other circumstances. That's been personal, Josh.
And with the shortfalls that we're seeing in pensions and everything, it's just a complete Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Puts a gun to your head saying invest in what the bank wants you to invest in, and you don't have a choice. Don't save for yourself. Depend on us, which is incredibly dangerous.
But try to look for ways to invest your lira in gold. I think there's a certain way. So
in our opinion, not financial advice.
Exactly. It's always our opinion. But I've studied liras. I actually been an advisor, advising people before about investments through exempt markets and so on here in Canada. And I highly suggest you just do some research. Go and look at, lira, gold, lira, silver. Just search that up. I know there's portfolios that you could actually put that money into and make better work of it. Look at investments that can actually pay you some dividends or something out of that lira. That's unfortunately the only way, because the government has scammed you into, getting into a locked-in retirement account. It's unfortunate, but that's probably one of the best ways in my point of view.
It's all about dependency, debt servitude to the banking system and government, and it's up to you to break free from that. Thank you, Legend TV from Calgary. Thanks for the kind words. I just wanted to look at one. Okay, Eric Turner says gold, gold, gold. Yeah, we got a video going up on that very shortly. Big couple days for gold for sure. Michael Ruiz says, what do you think about Iran? And I'm going to leave that off as the last question as we finish this off, because I'm really tired. But Iran is a tricky subject because we've reported on it before. It's part of this global complex where we see, Iran, Russia, China, these big power players, North Korea, Syria, and this conflict that's been heating up with this call to arms in order to, create instability in the world arena between, the East and the West, and Russia and the United States, and China and the United States, and North Korea and the United States, and everyone else. And it's all fear-mongering pushed by the global establishment to cause people to be enough in fear to create enough servitude in order to brainwash people to want to go to war and cause more instability in the world and cause more dependency. Yeah. It's an incredibly dangerous thing. And of course, as of today, if I have any of these articles still up, I'm looking here. Oh yeah, U.S. intelligence reportedly gives Israel green light to assassinate Iran's top general, according to Zero Hedge. And as the first part says, according to reports circulating widely in Israeli media today, U.S. intelligence has quietly given Israel's Mossad the green light to assassinate Iran's top military officer, Iranian Revolutionary Guards Al-Quds Force Commander Major General Qasem Soleimani. So it's really dangerous.
Well, what I see here is just another Arab Spring that was created by Obama, of course. I was down in Tunisia just 3 weeks before it happened, and I could feel, the tension in the people. And it's also, again, you got to remember that Iran is not the greatest, place in the world either. But I see this as, push towards trying to, the first stage of taking over an empire. It's that economic the economic hitman, what's his name, Josh?
I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it. But that's the whole the start of it, that they're implying to try to put this together in order to topple a regime, because they've been wanting to take over Iran for a very long time, the military-industrial complex and its controllers. So they were talking about this back in the early 2000s about how they wanted to invade Iran, and if they get their way, they will do it. But Trump needs to see through the smoke and mirrors that the military-industrial complex has created for him, because he's definitely letting himself be ill-advised by all these generals that, their only thing, the reason why they have a job is because there's war.
It's a president. President has to be a figurehead. Any other direction they go, they get a silver bullet in the head, and that's the unfortunate reality of the global industrial complex that is pushed forward through the idea of statism and democracy and two wolves and a sheep deciding what to have for dinner. So I see a message here from, let's see here. Sorry, I'm just adding something to the chat here. Liberty TV, or Legend TV wants to interview us. Just send an email to the email we put in the chat, and we'd be happy to talk with you about that. There's lots more comments, but I'm going to kind of end it off here. There's so much to talk about as always, but I got a lot of work to do into the night and into the morning tomorrow, and 24/7 for until the end of my life.
We'll work on getting more of these live streams up. It's been very successful, this live stream so far. Starting last year when we started doing them, Josh, and I think it's great for people to be able to interact with us and get our point of view, as we also get a lot of knowledge from you guys. It's great, a lot of awesome comments out there. A lot of knowledge in the populace here, so we really appreciate all the work that you guys put in to give us feedback and give us your thoughts on what's happening around the world, because there's a lot of intelligent people out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
But as we finish it off, 1488 Goy says, "Are you Jew wise?" Give me a break. Come on, guys. Let's see. No, I'm not Jewish, and I'm quite aware of the...
I think my mom said at one time that I was the 16th Jew.
Oh, great. That's going to cause a few video exposés on us. Thanks, John.
But I just had to mention that. That's pretty funny, actually.
Anyway, Zeobis says... Lightning Network test on mainnet, real Bitcoin. Okay, so there's going to be a Lightning Network coming soon for Litecoin and Bitcoin. Very exciting. A couple weeks in the crypto world is an eternity, so let's hurry this up, guys. Hello, Bitcoin core development crew. This is serious. You need to get on this right now, because it's taken away application to Bitcoin by not being able to use it properly as a currency.
Yeah, the mainstream is using it as a way to attack Bitcoin, saying that, it's useless, it's garbage. But I'm very excited about the Lightning Network. We talked about it, a couple of months back when it started to develop. So exciting things. Yeah, absolutely. Non-stop exciting stuff. There's a lot of problems in the world and a lot of solutions. We're going to continue to report on that. We can't thank you enough. Thank you very much for tuning in. Wilbur Slater, S. Walker says he can't see the like button. Great. More censorship by YouTube. Thank you, LP Crazy, and Mark Schroeder, Tom Guns, Dill Mendonca. Sorry, there's a lot of names to read here. Thank you, Eric Turner. Thank you, everyone. Legend TV. And big shout out to, of course, Michael Holiday and Just Slow Stone for the super chat money. We can't do without you guys. Any donation is very much appreciated in these times that we're so heavily demonetized. Check out STEEMIT.com. Check out DTube. John, any final words? Well, just let's make 2018 the best year in the freedom movement so far. I think we have a lot of momentum, and we're going to really change things, and exciting things ahead in this world. Absolutely. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth.